Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, we're heading into a new trading week. We didn't really see too much end of the week volatility, but maybe that could still start. I mean, around the weekly candle, it feels a little bit more exciting at the moment as it might have been last week or so. Last weekend was very quiet. This weekend was sort of quiet, but some coins are obviously starting to move, which is interesting. And yeah, we are basically sort of stuck between two scenarios, a little bit in no man's land here, but we talked about the two scenarios that we're dealing with. In the first scenario, which is, in my opinion, still in control, but that doesn't mean I'm ruling out to go higher because the short-term trend is clearly up. But as long as we are below 27,480 from an analysis point of view, for me, the yellow wave count is still in control, but it's sort of obviously currently in the process of maybe getting invalidated and maybe switching from the yellow wave count into the white wave count. So the yellow wave count, if you watched previous videos, then you will know this is the wave count in which we will sell off more directly. Basically, the assumption is that an A wave low was made here in August, a B wave high was made end of August, and against that high, the focus is on lower, because going above that level is basically the invalidation point for the immediate downside scenario. The downside scenario is a wave 1 down, a wave 2 up, 3 down, 4 up, 5 down in a wave C, and it would follow through to the downside, okay? Now, to keep that a likely scenario, and it has lost in likelihood end of the week on Thursday especially, and now over the weekend with the price pushing higher against the ceiling. But to keep that still a likely scenario, the price should stay below 27,480. And if we get above that level, then even though the yellow wave count is not invalidated, but this wave 2 would need to reset higher, and then it's a very, very strange wave count. And, you know, above the end of August high, which is 28,200, it will be completely invalidated. So I'm watching here for a 1-2 setup. That would be another 1-2 here and then follow through to the downside. However, it has become less likely. If we go above the relevant levels that I mentioned, then the white wave count could play out. This is short-term bullish and could take us to around about 30K, just below 30K. In this wave count, first of all, the B wave could reset higher. There is enough space for this B wave to just create an extended 3-wave move, a so-called flat structure in an A, B, C structure, and the C wave would be the white wave count, the 5-wave move to the upside. With that move up there, we would have 3 waves up, okay? 3 waves up only, and what we need to consider is if we get there and have 3 waves up, then this is either the high B wave, or if I count it in a different way and count the completion of the overall correction that started in April here, then we have 5 waves up in a white wave 1. So it's basically the first indication that the trend has changed to the upside. Then after these 5 waves up, we can work with that 5-wave structure. We can put a support area onto the chart, which I would do then, yeah, and communicate, of course. And if we get into this region then, which might be around 26, 27K, depending on how high we really go in this 5-wave move. So if we get into this area then, around 26, 27K, and if we see a first impulsive reaction to Fibonacci support, then this would be a really good long trade setup, okay? And that could take us to 40, 50K. That's what I'm going to watch for in the coming weeks. But it depends on if we can break through 27,480. And in the very short term, it depends on if we can hold, obviously, these support areas. So there is a micro support area now in this white 1-2 setup. So in case the white wave count works out, here is a potential 1-2 setup that could send the price higher in a third wave of the C wave. Yeah, we're dealing here with a complex diagonal, possibly. Certainly not an impulse. For anybody who's looking for a potential long trade now, I cannot tell you to do it, but this is an area where in a wave 2 the price should get into, and has a chance to turn around. But bear in mind, this is not a very reliable setup because the probabilities here are very close together. But the more reliable setup will be after the main 5 up and 3 down. But still, I think this is still a reasonable shorter time frame trade setup that anybody who likes to trade shorter time frames could consider. At least it is a so-called 1-2 setup, and it will be invalidated below 26,650. Now, that could just be a reset of the B wave, but then below 26,277, also this B wave will get a little bit unrealistic because it would go down too low. And below 26,277, we would have to put more emphasis again on the yellow wave count. But so far, this is a bit of a corrective mess up here. It's very sloppy, very corrective. Now, if it's very sloppy, doesn't necessarily mean it's bearish. It just means, yeah, it's not very clear, that price action, okay? Then, however, as I said to you before, that the daily RSI looks quite bullish, actually. Now, the RSI is only an indicator. I would not allow the RSI to determine my wave count. Price action does that, and the FIBs. But still, we can use it as additional indicator to maybe confirm something. And the RSI is definitely leaning bullish on the daily. Yeah, we always talk about it, that an oversold reading on the daily RSI is a very good signal that a lasting low, or at least some more of a substantial low, is in place. It worked out this time again. It worked before many times. And we even had a bullish divergence, and it's now above 50. So it's above 50. It seems to stay there for now. Broke above trend lines on the daily RSI as well. Trend lines on an RSI can be very useful. And we have a bit of a breakout point here as well on the RSI around 59. So if the RSI pushes above that level, that would also be bullish. So just keep an eye on that. Basically, yeah, I think there is a good chance to push to 30K. And I said to you in the previous videos, everybody should have a plan now. This is a major inflection point. And I obviously would hate if anybody, has gone through this brutal bear market and has not used the time to put a position in place to profit from price increases into the 40K to 50K region. I mean, I really hope everybody's done what they need to do to build a portfolio. And then you can, of course, trade around that, but don't scale in out of positions all the time, because if you are all in, all out all the time, you will miss surprising rallies. And that is a great FOMO recipe and treatment if you have a core position that you would just sort of reduce or take profits on in an event of a real bull run again. So you want to have that in place. At least I do. I can really only talk about my own perspective and my own strategy, but from experience, also from previous bear markets, previous bull runs, I can tell you all in, all out isn't normally gonna work. Yeah, that's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And if you're interested in the channel membership, you can find the links in the video description. You get access to a weekly live stream every Sunday, to Discord and Telegram live chat rooms, and additional short-term market updates as a gold member. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.